So, Mickey, the market seemed to just hold its own this week, despite the start of earnings season. What were the factors around that?
So it's funny you say that, David, because we had great earnings, but the market could have been a little higher if it weren't for one, IBM, who their revenue has underperformed for 21 straight quarters. And we had we've had some political controversy. But overall, earnings have been very strong, which have helped the market break out to new highs, especially on the NASDAQ side. Like I said, IBM kind of held down the Dow Jones, or a really big percentage of Dow Jones. And we saw at the end of the week, the market gave back a little bit, a tiny bit. It was down a little bit with some of the political uncertainty. But next week and the week after is when we start getting into the heavy hitters of the technology, the Facebook, the Googles. Then we'll start seeing a little more of the what's going to move the market on the technology side of earnings.
So I guess that's what really leads to the second question then is, we're just getting started in the earnings season. How long is this going to go? You mentioned some of the tech stocks. Are there any others that you're watching that could affect the market, indices?
Yeah, I mean, the next 2 weeks, like I said, Facebook, Google, Apple, Intel, a lot of the big names come up that are really the momentum movers of the market. And the last statistics I saw was like 83% of companies have beat estimates, which is just goes to show how strong earnings have been. And then we go back to this is the summer. So we have a lot of the A team, a lot of people are on vacation. So volume is low, and it doesn't take a lot to get the market to move. So if we continue to have these good earnings, we could have some really good, strong upside days.
Sounds good, Mickey. Let's turn a little bit to some other factors that may be affecting the market sort of in the coming months, in particular the start of fall. The Feds looks like they've given up on healthcare legislation, and then they're now turning their efforts toward the budget for 2018. What are the kind of things that could affect the market as these discussions transpire?
Well, obviously this tax reform, like we're talking about, will be big. If there are tax cuts, that'll help the market. But with the big news from the other day of Senator John McCain being sick, that could really change things because the Republicans have such a small advantage that, again, I was reading that without his vote, they may have a hard time getting a lot passed. So then we kind of go back to months ago where, buy the rumor, sell the news, where so far the Republicans have failed on Obamacare. And if they fail on tax cuts, where does that leave the market? And that'll be interesting to see moving forward because the market has benefited from all this hope of health insurance and tax cuts. So it will be interesting moving forward to see what happens if they are able to get some of the stuff through.
So I guess for now it's sort of stay the course, but man, there's a lot of variables that are out there that could sway things, even only temporary. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, but you know what? There are always a lot of variables. When we look at the big things, that one, unemployment is low. Two, earnings are coming out strong. The one thing that's always bothered me as a portfolio manager is that really a lot of things are priced to perfection. Earnings have been good. Forward earnings are still pretty good, but stocks are pretty high in value. I would love to see a nice little correction, 10, 15%. People are going to say, oh no, that's a lot of money. But you know what? It's just a correction. It's not where the market sells off and everything looks bad. Of course, if we get this correction, it would be ugly because the computer programs which dominate the market would make this correction look really ugly. But we would bounce back, and it would be nice if we could bounce back a little slower. But things look good, and I wouldn't be surprised if we keep going a little higher. But I just don't think we can continue these huge gains we've seen because we are getting priced to perfection, which we've been talking about.
Well, you sort of talked me off the ledge of doing something in a panic, and I appreciate that. I suppose others are going to be following the prevailing winds of the news cycle and may need that counsel. You've been very kind with me. How do you help others?
They can always email me directly, Mickey, M-I-C-K-E-Y, at Envestim, ENVESTIM.com. Follow us on Facebook, our Envestim page, or follow us on Twitter at Envestim1.
Mickey, I appreciate it as always. Have a great week.
Thank you, David. You do the same.